seems to be a fun-filled adventure in its own right. And you know that I have just got to break down what we see in the trailer and talk about what might happen. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, instead of doing a shot-for-shot breakdown that would honestly take up a lot of our precious time, let's instead go through some of the major highlights and talk about what they might mean. So right out the gate, we catch a glimpse at just how much Scott and Co.'s lives have changed since the last film in the Solo series. No longer is Scott trying to squeak by a meager living by working alongside his ex-con buddies or at an ice cream shop. And Hope and her family aren't on the run anymore, not having to worry about dodging some government stooges while packing around an entire skyscraper as a suitcase. Instead, they're all basically celebrities. We even see Scott and Hope walking on a red carpet. They're Avengers, and being an Avenger is a big deal now. You know what else has changed? Cassie Lang. And no, I'm not just talking about the fact that we have yet another actor playing her. That is our third Cassie Lang for those of you keeping track at home. But she has actually taken on the family quantum business, constructing some kind of device that apparently sends signals into the quantum realm. Of course, this all goes horribly wrong, and the crew is sucked into a portal and transported to the tiny, tiny world. There, they encounter these interesting-looking fellows. Now, it's hard to really identify who exactly they are, but they could belong to two possible groups. First, we have the Micronauts, also known as Enigma Force, who are a rather obscure team of super beings that first started as a tie-in to some toys that were released in the late 70s. But more likely than that, they could be the members of the Anachronauts. This was a group of beings from across different realities that Kang the Conqueror assembled as his own personal army. Given the team's association with Kang and their general aggressive stance that they have in this clip, it wouldn't surprise me if that's who this is supposed to be. And by this point, we can guess that Kang is already rocking a pretty powerful army, as we catch a glimpse of one when we get a look at this city in the quantum realm. This is more than likely Chronopolis, which is a city from the comics that exists within a timeless plane that is ruled over by Kang. Speaking of which, there he is, surrounded by rings, which I'll get to in a second, and rocking some gnarly face scars that are reminiscent of the ridges his comic counterpart has on his blue skin. Now let's talk about the rings. A common visual motif that we've seen all throughout Phase 4 are rings. And I'm not just talking about the 10 rings from Shang-Chi, although those definitely factor into it. There are some more subtle ones as well. In Loki, He Who Remain's entire setup featured a lot of different rings. There was the giant window behind his desk, which was visually stunning, but also when he did his little story time bit for Loki and Sylvie, he illustrated the multiverse as a series of rings all stacked on top of each other. And his final little slide statue thing showed the sacred timeline as crafted as one giant ring. And here in Quantumania, we see rings all over the place. Most, if not all, of Kang's tech seems to integrate rings in some aspect of their design, including his hover pad, which is just awesome to see. Perhaps this is how the 10 rings are actually going to factor into the larger story of the multiverse saga. We know that they're not from Earth, and that they were apparently sending out a signal to some unknown recipient. 10 Bucks says that they are Kang technology that got misplaced in time and space, and the signal they are sending out is to the quantum realm. Just like that beacon that Cassie made at the beginning. Maybe that's what Kang needs Scott's help with, as we hear Kang offer to return Scott home if he helps him. Maybe he wants Scott to get the rings back to him, or maybe he needs this thing in the box, which might be the Forever Crystal, a device that was once used in the comics by Immortus, another Kang variant, to trap Chronopolis within, turning it into a powerful weapon that could create temporal anomalies and royally mess with time itself. It's a whole thing that I'm not really going to get into here. Just know that it's not a good thing. Getting back, though, to the whole deal that Kang is offering Scott, he mentions giving him more time, which just sounds really ominous. There is a rumor floating around the net recently that says that Scott Lang might actually die in this movie, an event which would serve as a catalyst for Cassie to become her own hero stature. Kind of like how Cassie stepped up in a big way after her father died during Avengers Disassembled on the page. Is this what's going to happen? Maybe. We do actually have some imagery in this trailer that suggests that Scott's not going to be having a real great time. And with the Young Avengers on the horizon, this could all be set up for a pseudo-adaptation of Children's Crusade, an arc which saw the young heroes seeking out a presumed dead Scarlet Witch. finding her alive and being manipulated by Dr. Doom, all ending with her returning to the world, along with a resurrected Scott Lang. Point is, things aren't looking too great for old Scotty over here. But regardless of what happens, this movie is probably going to be one of the most important parts of the multiverse saga so far, as it will, at the very least, set the stage for the proper Kang the Conqueror to enter the mainline continuity. So, get ready for that. Also, it has Bill Murray in it, which is just fun. I don't have anything at all to say about him, but, you know, I look forward to seeing him in it. Hey there, everybody, I'm John Aljets. I made this video, and I want to know what you think. Are you excited to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?